Sanibonani sizwe sabakhaliphi uaba ayalewo okhulumayo silo samanzi uheruse Khemankamun uchaye ngumbono utukutu mandlana udlumvubu ukhipha ukete namhlanje we are here to carry on Kgangkgolo indaba enkulu bakwethu umuntu wataba siphethe namhlanje uzozi introduce I will do injustice but in short Prince Maloka of the Bakgatla clan. We are going to talk extensively about who are the Bakgatla and where do they come from and what do they stand for. And as this show goes, like we said, we're going to get to the depths of these details so that we can find an understanding of who we are as abantu abamnyama and where do we come from, but in order for us to also find our place. Ngwana Khosi, Ngwana Moshate, welcome once again. Nakho ke awutshela isizwe sabakhaliphi lapho ukuthi wena ubani njani.
Erekele dumedise babuhi bamamedi bao ba lebeletseng this podcast o bolela ngo Shabutlhe Prince Shabutlhe Morwamocha Maloka Kgakatu na mamushifa na mapaladira. King Moshate, both the mother and the father, are claiming to be a royal person. He is a royal person. Uaba rtubulela ka setso le tlhago le ngwao ya Bakata or Bakata pila ke bomang. Where are they coming from? Their origins. Who are actually there? We've tried to talk about this thing in the past day, where we actually mentioned when we were doing the one podcast in one of the company.
Unpopular opinion.
We try to cover that, but we hear people in the radios, in other podcasts. They're misleading this information, and this information is very clear, and it's open for discussion. It's open for courts as well. If you want to take me to court, you can take me to court with the information that I'm giving. We're open to discuss this origin, and it says to us, if you are not originated from where we start, city leo inkinga.
Ozuwala ekhaya.
Usosimoshela.
Owaziwa ekhaya.
Hayi usosimoshela.
Manje sinenkinga phela yokuthi ama history wethu. Kunenkinga yokuthi, and a lot of people have said this and have commented, and have said that a lot of our history esinayo in terms of written history in books, it's history that was written by white people, Makhoa, right? And the fact that it was written by white people, for most of our people, they don't trust it. But it's not a real history, it's a false history. I'm of a different opinion personally. Mina.
Okay.
I'm of the opinion that history was recorded by Makhoa Belungu, white people.
Yes.
And they did it, one, they did it in order to understand their enemy, which was us. Two, they did it in order to keep a record
of their enemy,
which was us.
Yeah.
Three, they did it in order to keep track of who and where their enemy is. And that is us. So, I believe that is the most accurate recorded history you can find in books. It's true, Guti Kgabo, a lot of our people didn't write their histories in books. It's true that a lot of our histories are not written in books, are not captivated in libraries, and a lot of them are oral histories, are stories that we hear from mouth to ear. You understand? But now, here's the problem. Oral tradition can change.
Yeah.
Oral tradition can be manipulated.
Absolutely.
Oral tradition can be misdirected in order to achieve a certain goal.
Absolutely.
Now, we are going to talk about histories now.
Yeah.
Kibo mang Bakgatla, Batswa kai Bakgatla. These histories, before we get into them, are they written down in books by white people, or are they oral history stories from grandfathers who are black?
Let me thank you once more with regards to the issue that we're sitting on of the history being written by white people. You know, sometimes we're failing ourselves for not saying thank you to them. We need to say thank you to them, because at least we've got something to talk about, something to grab, something
We have a reference point.
We have a reference point. And it's one thing that white people can't do. They can't say we have wronged you, black people, in your land. They can't say it. They're afraid. But I'm here sitting here and say thank you, white people, for writing our history and documenting our history, because even us as researchers of our history, we can even go and check on your archives, you know, that you've put along. The Pre-Voortrek Monument in Pretoria has our history, my brother. You need to get in there, and it's not only the Boer wars that are there. They were not fighting elusive people, or you know. Yeah.
They were fighting real people.
They were fighting real people. So, on the process of them fighting with other people, they were documenting even their enemies. They put their enemy nicely in cabinets. So you go to the Voortrek Monument, you'll get our history there, as Kgabo, and as Amaxhosa, as Amabata, as Amazulu, Barolong, all these North Sotho and South Sotho people. You go down to Mudimul Museum. There you're going to find the history of Bakata, Ndebele, Agegana, Ndebele, Amanzunza, in Mudimule Museum. You go to Boulders, yeah, in Madrid, yeah, not far from here. In Boulders, you will get this history that has been documented by white people. You go down to the National Archives of South Africa in Pretoria, you will get this information. Only if you know how to search, you don't just go there and say, no, give me the history. You must know how to do it. You don't just go there and say,
you must know what you're looking for.
Absolutely. You know? And then you go to union building. Though there's a lot of red tapes to get into our history in union building, because they think that it's more privileges than any other archived buildings that are here in South Africa. There are quite a number of museums and archives in South Africa that are having this information. And thanks to people like Dr. Mtsega, we need to thank him, because as and when we do our own research, we find his book and say, oh, wow. Yes, Mr. Mtsega writing our history, but in a very narrow point. He didn't elaborate, because if one goes to him and say, Dr. Mtsega, here's a name you didn't explore. Here's a king you didn't explore. But you said this king was more respected in this area. Why did you get into this person and find out who is he, where is he coming from, and what is it that he has left? You know? And then you get into the books of
we'll have to make and have a sit down with him.
We'll definitely do that. We'll definitely do that. That is his book. Is his book. We'll be questioning him on his own book. Yeah, because that book seems to be interesting, but he has left a lot of information in behind, because he was actually documenting only the Mujaji
kingdom.
Yeah, the Mujaji kingdom.
Yeah, and his book, I've got it here. It speaks more. He's more focused on the Mujaji kingdom.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so he did touch upon others.
Yeah.
But he's more focused on that. But he's got a knowledge of others. Maybe he can expand.
Yeah. I think he's one person we need to go and find out more of his research, and we need to thank him for that. Dr. Pt1 as well. His book speaks volumes. His book speaks things that are more of importance to us as Africans. Because he's not more of a royal person, but he's more of a cultural person. So in there we'll definitely get what we'll be talking about, how these people happen to live, what is it that they were doing, what is it that they were using, in Pitika. So there are a couple of professors that we can talk to. Therefore, we as well. That's why I'm saying we need to thank them for that. It was not wrong. These white people, whoever the breads, those whom we are sourcing this information from. The only thing, my chief, that worries me is that they haven't told us where they took the ornaments, because they would say your great-grandfather's head is an ornament to a white person, and they took it somewhere. So they need to take us there.
Given that, like you say, I like what you say, Oguti, we need to thank them on one end for documenting our history. On the other hand, we can't forget that, there's so many ornaments, so many artifacts, so many histories and truths about us that they are still not in the public.
That is not in the public. There's another book called The Secrets of the Native. It's not found in libraries, but it's when you hit these computers, hardly so. You dig deep, that you will happen to see that book. There's quite a number of lots of books, of historic books, but you need to know which one exactly are you going to pick. And now they are now selling it on dollars. It's difficult for one to just grab it. But that book whoever wrote that book, thank you, for him to have written that book, because there are a lot of things that wouldn't have known by now.
And I think we take for granted, people who take time and write books. And we read those books and we have that knowledge today, and we talk about these things. We use them in research, we use them in references, for masters, for theses, for whatever.
Absolutely.
But we never sit back and say, Yazin,
thank you.
Ungifundise something, ngiyabonga. Ngiyabonga. From now on, every author, let me start by saying every author I've ever read, ngiyabonga for that time you took. Absolutely. And the knowledge you shared. Ngiyabonga. And for those who are still writing books, Uncle Siam, siyabonga in advance.
Absolutely. Because they're absolutely. They're giving us this thing that history cannot be erased. It's like life. It's a continuous thing. It's never end. For them to document and say no, but that one was wrong. We like it, that challenge, because it will bring something out of your challenge.
It will keep a question.
Yes.
And that question will lead to an answer.
Absolutely.
Asingene kuyo Kgabo. Asingene kuyo. Ke mang Kgabo? Ke mang Mokgatla?
Mokgatla ke ngwana nkotolana Tlhabiso Mahopola o itlhomolwa. Go se ileng ya tlhomphiwa ke Bakgatla e ileng ya re belegela go se Mabokoboko. Mabokoboko a re belegela dikgosi tsa Bakgatla ba Maloka. A beleha le banna ba ileng ba tshwara dikoma bo Shabutlhe le bo Ramogobotle, bo Malatse le bo Mmemise, dintona le dikhosana tsa Sekgatla. E re ke ska o thoma mo hare.
Yeah.
O bona nako nngwe no thoma fela mo hare. O bona ho ja bo hobe ska bo thoma mo hare.
Yeah.
Bu keke bu thome ko mathomo. O tlatla le bona ba
fola.
Ba fola. Yeah. Etso thewa ba fola.
Yeah.
So this is what happened. You know, this history is very interesting, my chief, Abba. Our history as Sekgatla, to be known now as Sekgatla, we originate in 800. 800.
800.
800.
Okay.
From Africa.
Yeah.
And that is not only when we are in Africa. In Africa, it is before.
Yeah.
BC. Jesus Christ was born. It is before then. Even Jesus Christ is a young boy. Yeah, no, it's a young boy in our history, because it starts in Africa and it moves to the southern tip of Africa. And when it gets into the southern tip of Africa, the entrance of the Kalanga and the Kata and the Rolongs and the Ndebeles. Not Ndebeles. Ndebeles are born within the group. When they were in what we call Mapungube. You said it's Mapungube. Mapungube is it's somebody's language, because he cannot say Mapungube. The place is called Mapungube because all those who stayed there, they mix the leopard and the jackal skin. So we call it Mapungube. Moving down to the south, 800, that's when they reached the south tip of Africa, and a land with no name, but it has a name that has been oppressed by those who wanted to oppress it and then wanted to come out as the origin of this land.
Yazi Kgabo, ngizokuphazamisa kancane nje. 800, you came to the southern tip, to a land with no name. You found this land with nobody here. No one was here. Were you the first people to get to this piece of land, or did you find people already living here?
No. When we moved, the migration part of it, it was different types. Different tribes were moving down to the south because the south was more fertile than the central part of Africa. So I won't claim and say BaSotho were the only people who came here and settled here. But I would argue, if somebody says to me, the Khoi and the Sen are the first people to stay in this land, that I would argue. Even in the highest court of law, I will argue. Those were they were part of the migration.
They were one of the groups.
They were one of the groups. They were not actually the origin of these people. I call it Bakho too. Let's put it there, because Bakhalaka, they were there. Who gave birth to Bakhotu? I don't know whether I'm clear on that. Every nation has its own origin. It has somewhere where it has come from. I'm talking about Sekata. I will tell you where Sekata come from. How did we became Bakata, Barolong, and Bakwen? How did it happen?
Like Tina Geka will tell you, how did we become Amambalu? We have a trace, we have an origin somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. So you cannot. That's why there's no land in South Africa, and I'm saying that, and I'm repeating it. There's no land in South Africa where you find only one tribe in a village. One tribe. You say, Tinase Bakata. Bakata fe. I kone. Bilegas kone. It will never. Am I clear on that one? Because even on the
ngiyazi kwaXhosa kunabeSuthu kwaXhosa bakhuluma isiXhosa bagcoka isiXhosa benza isiko lesiXhosa kunabeTswana kwaXhosa bakhuluma isiXhosa badla isiXhosa benza isiko lesiXhosa kunamabhaca kwaXhosa kunamamfengu kwaXhosa kunamampondo kwaXhosa kunamaZulu kwaXhosa kunamandebele kwaXhosa, and all of them
they live happily.
Siphila kamnandi futhi.
Yeah. So
we live as one thing.
If there's a king or a chief in South Africa or in Nduna in South Africa who will tell me that he's only leading his own clan, let him be in public. I'm challenging that person. Let him be out and say, in our area of jurisdiction, it's only us. Hence we have the chieftaincy that are formed by 3 or 2 or 4 names or clans. Then we say in Sekata we're talking about the 3 foot. The 3 foot. We would have, when a pot has to stand, it has to stand with
3 foot.
A 3 foot. 3 legs.
And it must stand on 3 stones.
Absolutely. So let's go back to this origin that I'm talking about of 800. When we arrive in the southern tip of Africa, we were led by Morolong I. And Morolong I did not have he was not only alone, he was having his brothers and sisters. But we single out Morolong I because he has actually led some people down the southern part, 800. Morolong I was the one who was leading. So we'll talk about him. But we forgot that he has his brothers, sisters, and nephews. Where were they? Was he alone? No, he was not alone. he had a cabinet. Morolong 1. Who are they? Who are they? We're not talking about. Hence, we would have people who would get out of your kingdom and form another kingdom. So it didn't only happen when we moved down that we realized that people can move out of a kingdom and create.
It still carries on now.
You see,
even amongst families. That's why your brother lives in Bretts and you live in Mabiskral, and another one lives in Halmansdal, and another one is in Hammanskraal
and all that. Yes. The 900 was an era of Morolong. 1. He later then gave it to around 900 or around before 900, because he has been there almost 80 years, 80 years or so. So around 880, that's when his younger brother, Noto 1.
Ow.
Yes, Noto 1. After the death of Morolong 1, died. Noto took over.
His brother, not a son.
You know, it was somehow difficult because brothers, I always say to Royal, Rangwana atlokomele koshi, tlomola. Rangwana, ha hudisi koshi, utlomolaya. You would kill him.
Because the church is equally his now.
Absolutely. They are on an equal footing. They believe this is theirs, both of them. Rangwana utlobola koshi. Never in your home state give Rangwani Ngwana Koshi and say, please raise this son for us. Never. Don't do that. It's a mistake that most royal are doing.
I'm praying this.
And then we end up having these squabbles and fights within royal families because of this misunderstanding. Putting Rangwani to say, Rangwani, please raise your brother's son. On which interest is Rangwani doing that? Because it's his brother, it's his father's belongings.
It's his father's throne.
It's his father's throne.
He is equally eligible for it.
He's equally eligible for that. He will kill him. So, usually I always say, Kosi ihudiswa ke malungu. The uncle to the mother is the one who's raising a chief, a leader, because he does not have
any stakes there,
any interest on the throne. Rather, he have an interest of raising a leader. That's when we'll get real leaders. Sometimes we need to say thank you, you know, with other systems. Even though we would caution them and say, why? You know, we'll always question them. But there are certain things that are doing it right. The Zulu nation, their king is raised by their uncle in Swaziland. And then when he is ready, he's given to what we call in the Zulus, he's been given to the prime minister of the Zulu nation. Not to the royal family, because if he goes there, he would find these ones that like hyenas sitting in there and say, what? I've been here for long and you coming here and saying this. No. They will introduce him to the prime minister and say, Prime Minister, the son is now ready after the death of his father. He is now ready. You know you have signed that the son be given to the uncle to be given the leadership role. Education. And be groomed towards that. Now we believe he's now ready.
To take his job, to take his position.
His position, his place. So at some point, as historians, as researchers, we need to say thank you. You know this word thank you, in most of the people, it's a taboo. It's a heavy thing to say.
Kgabo.
And thank you, it's a relief.
Besikhuluma nini konje noTembele nto la emalangeni ngithi yazi bakuthi izolo ne ngithi yazi abantu bahlulwa udanki like thank you
You have done me great. I am sorry. I am deeply sorry. Not these fake sorries that you see in other people, but original sorry. You know, it helps to relieve dangerous things that might come or unwanted things that might come.
in fact sorrow relieve our end.
Absolutely.
When you apologize, you are the one relieving yourself.
Absolutely.
You're not doing the person you're apologizing to a favor.
Any favor. So we need to say thank you to that system, because in most royal must learn to the Zulus on that system only. That system is the best system. Then under the leadership of Noto the first, you know, around 920, uAba ayelew sikhuluma ikhwekhwe yandaba ngoba yindaba
Mudi wa taba
Kgangkgolo,
and sisa tracer le route manje
sisa trace route.
ukuthi umurolong lo nonoto umfwabo
Yeah,
uza njani
uzenjani la? This tribe I'm talking about, it was called Bamrolo, because the first chief who arrived leading them
was Morolo.
was Morolo one. So they were called Bamrolo. They were led by Noto one. And now, after Noto passed, he ruled this tribe. But they were still called Bamrolo.
Morolo.
Under Noto. They were still called Bamrolo. Then they were later ruled by the third king. These were not chiefs, because they had chiefs in them, their brothers and other smaller houses. Those were called chiefs, because when they built their kingdom, they would have a smaller kraal and the bigger kraal and the major kraal, and cattle were put it in the middle of the whole cross. So around there, because cattle were regarded as badimu bonkomitsi. I don't know how to put it in English, but one would get that.
Our connection to the spiritual world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they would respect that cow. Hence, the cow was used for different things. But let's just move to another king who ruled the Bamrolo, who is Morara one. Ndebele bati umrara nema Xhosa bati umrara umtirara you know, you will only use
umthembu umthikaka lo
ewe the origin of them. The origin of them. You know, these people were not only Tswana, they were called Bamrolo.
But it's a whole nation. It's a whole nation. It's a mixture of
It's
people.
a mixture of nation at that time. So Bamrolong were a mixture of different clans, and the names as they come down, they will define where others come from and who are they and how they link with them. And why should we fight? It's a question we're asking today.
Because we
Why
are
are
one
we
person.
different? We are from one person. Umtiraralo, umraralo, murara one. You can find any other dialect name used by different, maybe Zulus they use it different, but it's the same person. I will show you as we go down that the Ndebeles as well were from one, they are from this one lineage of Bamrolo. So during the leadership of Murara I, that's when some other types and clans who were not ready to be led or who were given their independence under this kingdom, because you have thousands and thousands and thousands of people that you are controlling. How are you going to manage them? You know, and they are there. How are you going to manage them? Hence, chiefs and kings and others were created in that.
In order to manage the population.
In order to manage the population. We are not. Are tuti IDP ka ANC? No. We had our own IDP. We had our own IDP plan. We had it. It's a system that we're coming from far with it as kingdoms. It's just now they're documenting it. They are putting it as a document to say this is a guideline from Britain. It's not a guideline from Britain. It comes here, it went to Britain. And Britain bring it back and give it to you and say you are saying it's coming from Britain. No. No. We had a system. We had food. We have everything.
Of how to distribute wealth, how to distribute the land.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We had that plan.
Social services.
Social services.
Social
we had,
development.
We had it. Hence, we managed to live together without intruders who came and tried to manipulate us and make us fight. We never fight until they came and say this one is not good for you, this one is an enemy to you, and we some of us we believed them, and we started fighting each other, and they rejoice. I will when we just remind me when we get into the religious part of it. When we talk about the religious part of it, when we get to that
how religion
point,
tore us apart.
Yes, tore us apart with their Roman Catholic mission. Nicholas something. That Nicholas something. He's the one who destroyed the minds and the cohesion of black people. You know, by sending the people who came here first. The people who came here first and do what the Nicholas said are the Portuguese. Are the Portuguese.
Before the Dutch.
Before the Dutch.
Before
and
the
Anglicans. Yes, and the missionary.
The first people who settled there were the Portuguese.
The Portuguese.
Well, in terms of European influence.
Absolutely.
Besides the Asians and
no, the other ones are the missionaries who were actually here in South Africa to make sure that we listen. They were there to make sure that Africans listen and understand what they are coming up with, the mandate from the lineage of Queen Elizabeth. Anyway, let's get into that. Get into here. It's a topic on its own.
Ndisaxakwe ngumthirharha mna ukuthi umthirharha uzalwa ngumrolo. Awuze nayo.
Umrara lo.
Umrara yena uzalo bani yena? Why umrara aphelele kuzo zonke lezi?
No, umrara. Umntwana wakanota. The first. That's why bathi umrara the first. we have a problem of association. People don't want to associate themselves with the truth. Ndati, aba, besikhuluma ngomrara wa mathomo. Uthi umrara wa mathomo after the death of Noto 1.
And these are in the 1300s, ne?
13,
1200.
We're not there.
Asikakafiki.
We're not there yet.
Sikhuluma in 1994.
920, 982, 900 and the year 1000. That's where we are.
Okay.
We're not yet there.
This is ancient history.
Ancient history. Ukwamuthawulela ubuhoshi bahake ba 1923. Abana proud in a radio, in a national radio. Now our kingship kia 1923. Kana kwene rangwane mwana wa fela wa khoshi. Anale 6 years. Ebona proud ka tsatsana.
Aweki politiki mwana mrena man. Awuze nalaba bakithi lapho.
So after the rule of Umrara
kubalela 1923.
Umrara asikhulume nomrara.
Yeah.
Umrara lo ngiyachazeka ukuthi ngikhuluma ngelinyi elimi nje ukuthi umrara lo, so that those who are belonging to him outside of the Tswana lineage, they must know that they are belonging to this person because we are calling umrara. Ungambizo umtirara, ungambizo ubani. Ungamiza
ngendlela eziningi.
Ngendlela eziningi. Yeah. Lo mrara lo he ruled this Mrolong nation. At that time were called the Mrolong nation. So they focus on the first child, on the first son of the lineage, or those who are ancestrally given this chieftaincy, because you can get this chieftaincy through the ancestors, be given this leadership through ancestors, and then you can get a lineage by your birth. So there's two identical or two different ways of being a king or a chief. A chief who is ordained first by his ancestors is chosen within the family. You will see his character as he grow up. You will notice some differences as he grow up. While you are grooming this one, so you are grooming this one who's behaving differently, who's always doing things differently. And within the family, you will start noticing his behavior. So there's two ways of putting a leader in a community within a family of royalty. This one will have more interest in what is entirely of the family. But the one usually you are earmarking doesn't care, because he believes that he's rightfully his.
Entitlement.
He's got this. He's growing up with this entitlement that is not actually helping him, because whenever we said this is yours, he doesn't know anything about it. Then he started burning. He started having problems. The chieftaincy became messed up under his leadership. It is because of such. And then instead of having more knowledge of what the tribe is all about or the nation is all about, he does not know anything. He was captured by entitlement. So, hence, most of the chiefs that we have now, they don't know who they are. They will refer you to the junior uncles. If they don't have the junior uncles, they will refer you to the junior aunties who happen to be next to somebody who understands something. So, I was just giving you the two streams of leadership. Yeah. Hence, we have others like Bushaka and others, Bumshweshwe like others. You know, we have them as examples. You know. After Mrara, we have Murolong the second. We are now getting into the doors of 1,000 years, the year 1000. That's when we're getting in under Murolong the second. A son, the first son or a son of Mrara, who was given the throne, was Murolong the second. Why do you vusa abafileyo? Bate? Vusa abafileyo. Yeah. You need to maintain the name so that it has a relevancy of leadership in you. Absolutely. So, Murolong the second, they were actually saying we had Murolong the first. Around 1,000 years. The year 1,000.
So bambuyisa
ke bathi hayi sikhumbule
our great leader
amasiko ethu sikhumbule ukuthi siphume kuphi sibomani ngalo uMrolong the second. So under Mrolong the second, Mrolong the second had brothers and sisters. He was not born alone. Let's not deceive ourselves. There were splits in between because there were splits before. And those splits created other tribes that we don't know. Or we'll need to find out of them. Who are they? Maybe some of them went to Tanzania. Maybe some of them went to Malawi. Yeah.
Africa is big.
Africa is big. But because we were more interested in Mrolong the second, and here we were only interested on us.
Immediate bloodline, yeah.
Yes. Hence we were not doing a broader research of the family itself, because a king would not marry one woman. In any kingdom, it's not right to have one wife. Understand what I'm saying, brother? There's a lot of stress in kingdom. One wife will best. Because there's a lot of things that are given to her to handle.
That need her
At the same time, there's a man to handle. This king need to be handled by the same woman. The centrality of the family
depends on her.
It depends on her. So they would definitely make sure that we have 3 wives, 4 wives, you know, of one man. Of one man, my brother. Of one man. You understand? Because we are relieving the stress in this man.
Yeah.
It's not only about having 4 wives, and we are relieving a stress. A source of a stress
There's a bigger picture.
has its roots. A source of stress in the family has its roots. So we are relieving this man. It's like a bull. When you give a bull a lot of stress and chase it away and run it and expect it to do the work, the bull will sleep. For a month, you will feel sorry for what you did. So there's this thing of relieving the stress from a man. A man's mind has to be freed. A man's mind has to be ready for a good thing. I'm sorry, certain things come because of a stress, and we give birth to stressful children, and we say they are not well. It is because the father was stressed.
My lifestyle stress is now.
Yes. And I don't want us to get into that topic. We'll create that topic one day, of a stressful man creating a person. What type of a person will be created by that person who is stressed? There are a lot of things that we see in the present days of stressful men creating stressful people.
Because the environment they are in, Kgabo, is stressful.
Yes.
I mean, we have to work, we earn a salary, it's not enough, we pay tax, it's petrol, it's girlfriends, it's children, it's wives, it's this, it's that. Ngapha sifuna ama Louis Vuitton.
A stressful child. We'll talk about it. A stressful child. You say a child is working or hyper. They use this word hyper. In our own language, what is it? And then some of them, they move to more than chachara. And they get confused. And then they don't know what it is. It's more than chachara. Yeah. So let's get into that. Let's move that away, because we're talking about the lineage here. Umrolo the second. Yeah, Umrolo the second give birth to Unoto the second. Unoto the second. Sivusa abafile.
Oh, isikolo lesithiphi Noto. Isikolo ne? Yini?
Itsiphi Noto.
Is a graveyard.
Abarolong maba yenze isichazelo.
Oh, it's a burial society, yeah. Uningi ibona ithiphi Noto yaseSoweto ne?
Ngebarolong.
Oh, ngapha northwest ngapha ya. Ngike ngayibona ithiphi Noto. It's a funeral service what yeah. Abarolong. Okay.
Maba chaza isichazelo sabo. Their own traditional poem. They will say Tsipi Noto.
Kibaduba Tsipi.
Bana Bakgatla.
Okay.
Z.
Oh, okay. Ikhatla.
Iyakhatla mpane khatla.
Oh, ikhatla ikika.
Ewe.
Lento sigayela ki.
Sizofika lapho.
Usisingqusho wena.
Sizofika lapho.
Okay, Tsipi Noto ngwana Kgatleng. All right.
Because utofika mo. Okay. Le Bakgatla ba Makutu. We'll learn more about them and how and why and all those things. But we're moving. Not around 1,100 and something. That's when all these things changed. brother. In between, because you'll find a child being young, the junior uncle will hold the chieftaincy, and the junior uncle will never be given his history while we are waiting for the child to be ready for kingship. So we are not going to talk about the junior uncle, because if we talk about the junior uncle in the lineage of chieftaincy, we are distorting the history. Yeah, we are distorting the history. But they had chance of taking care of the chieftaincy. Like I said in the beginning, that the junior uncle's interest is his father's interest. He will never raise a king. So this child at that time, when he was growing in his uncle's place, where his mother came from, the junior uncle will hold on, but will never be given any ornament of chieftaincy. But he will then told to lead the community without anything that is of significance to that kingdom. Once you give him one of those, it's gone. It's gone. You will never take it back. So Noto at that time give birth again to Umrara, the second.
Uyambuyisa lo mrara.
Because maybe there were certain things that were
umrolong not umrara.
Yeah.
Who gives birth to Morolong, not umrara.
Yeah. Okay. You know that kind of lineage. We need to say thank you to them again, because they are showing that
it's a continuity of a dynasty.
They are showing that. How did they call the Zulu king now? How did they call him?
Isilo umisuzulu kaZwelithini.
Who's Zwelithini?
His father.
His father. Who's Zulu?
His grandfather.
So we need to say thank you. We need to
but this is how our people used to call each other. Before
angithi ngiyakujongisa ukuthi ubani okhiphile le trend le I practice manje. That's why I'm saying, even if we are in difference with them and other reasons, but we need to something that we need to appreciate. Absolutely.
And acknowledge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need
it's
to
true.
We need to acknowledge that.
It's true.
Because it's something that has existed before.
And it has been lost again, manje, because abantu
abasayenzi
just namasename.
Kgabo, the king Kgabo, and then you look at Kgabo, the king. Where is Kgabo, the king? Where is he coming from? Who's Kgabo? Is Zim, the present one, but he's not linked to the ancestral kingship. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just giving that as an example.
There is no continuity.
Absolutely, there's no continuity of the actual kingship. We don't know this kingdom, but like I said, we need to say thank you to them on keeping this trend of a lineage of understanding where they're coming from and where they're going. We need to say thank you
and acknowledge.
And acknowledge that. You see,
and learn from it.
And not learn and adopt it, because it's a system that has been there. It's just they kept it,
in practice,
as a sovereign and as in practice. We need to say thank you to them, because most of the kingdom, they don't do that. And it has been there before.
It's how it was done.
It was how it why these people are doing that? It is because their understanding comes from this history. You cannot do something that you don't know, or you have never seen before, or you have never seen before. You only do something that you were told it was a trend, and it is how it's done, and this is how we have kept the kingship going. And sometimes we might say, our government is respecting the Zulu nation more than any other. Maybe it's one of those that makes those who are sitting in government to say, this is the
basabamba into ebonakalayo bona
absolutely.
mhlawumbe. Unlike abetswana bathi hayi phela Batswana ke makgowa. So ubatshela umtswana ngengamasiko.
No.
I've heard that so many times. Hayi Batswana ke makgowa. Ngithi hawu mayisiko lenu yini? Arnantwe.
Yabona those who are living in Soweto and living in Midrand, those are the ones who will tell you such things. Yeah, those are in town with no king, with no clan, with nothing. They have a Makelwane.
Yeah.
Maki. Those are the ones who they don't know. Unless if they know what to do when they have something to understand with their culture and go home. But those who are buried here, my brother, we have a problem of those people. And they are the most powerful ones because they've grouped themselves in numbers.
Yeah.
So in government, in politics likes them because they are in numbers. That's why we have metros around them. Metros are a big number of people. And they are respected more than the original people. And they came from an original land. So let's not talk about that. It's another topic of another day.
Hey maning la topic awadi style.
Let's move.
Onke la topic eza ngala makhehla kini lawo.
Yeah.
Hey Nkosi yami ama politician labo. Awuze nayo umrara uzokushangrare yini impela wena.
So you see after Mrara the second, they had their lion's share of ruling the Mrolong nation. The Mrolong nation. Not Barolo, but Mrolong nation.
Bamorolo.
Not Barolo.
Not Barolo.
Bamorolo. Yes. And in between there was other tribes
Nations
that have moved out of Bamorolo nation. Created. And you will understand that Xhosas are part of that.
Hayi.
Ungaxola nje,
Abathembu mhlawumbi.
ungaxola
Ungafuni sonke isiqiniso
umrara lo.
Umrara kekho kwaXhosa.
Ukuphi?
Ebathenjini mhlawumbe ndithi utshilo wathi umthirhaka.
Umrara ukuphi?
Umthirhaka ayingomXhosa kaloku.
Uyi.
Ngumthembu. And abathembu vele ngabahambi kwaXhosa akusibantu bakwaXhosa original. Uzoyidiscussa nongolanyama leyo mina.
Songena kuyo baba, songena kuyo.
Angiyazi mina angifuni nokuyiphendula. Into engiyaziyo nje ukuthi umthirhaka ngumthembu ayingomXhosa.
Abathembu
ayingomaXhosa.
Abathembu.
Ifana namabhaca ayingomaXhosa ngamabhaca.
Okay.
NabeSuthu ayingomaXhosa ngabeSuthu.
Okay.
So wena manje usakhuluma ke Kgabo khuluma ngabo ke nomthirhaka. Kodwa nyala Maloka nyala Maloka zikumkani abathembu.
Mina ngiyakubonisa ukuthi why are we one family?
But we are connected.
We are connected.
Yeah.
But the language we are speaking.
Umthembu sizomvakashela.
Yeah. The language.
Uzawusho ngolanyama ukuthi hawo uyakuvuma lokho noma uthini na. Uzawuziphendulela.
Uzoqala la. Somewhere la 18 something or maqala la. Ufuna ukukhuluma lo.
Hayi. Sizobanika ichance Kgabo nabo bazikhulumele. Sizobanika ichance nabo baziphendulele.
Yeah.
Kodwa mina ngiphendulela uXhosa ngithi Khanyala.
Sebatshela ngelink.
Yeah.
Sebatshela ngelink.
Yeah.
Kuthi link yabo.
Aninawo amagama esiXhosa lapha kini awekho. Okhulumanco.
No.
Aninayo ukhulumanco.
Yes. Emhlambi abana bakaMrara.
kwaXhosa.
Bane
abakaXhosa ngabakaXhosa.
Izwa ba. Abantwana bakaMrara. Mhlambi bani Xhosa names yonke mhlambi sifuna ukuthi siyenze a deep research
singayenza Kgabo.
yeah si donse lo Dr. Mtshekga lo Pt Kantuli sibatonze la sithi lo mrara lo mdiraga lo mdiraga ubani uphumi kuphi uqalile kuphi ubani lo
I mean angeke ngiphikise ngoba angwazi umlando wakwawo obathembu akwazi
izwa ngikhuluma ngeKhatla Khatla nation but I'm not yet there
awasikakafiki
asikafiki
and uXhosa wakambali ke la impela wakamthinta uXhosa
angithi ngiyawujolisa
abathembu ngoba ubathintile asazi bazoziphendulela namandebele hey baningi nabantu abagwinyayo uyagwinya
angigwinye baba athi sikhulume lento le Thabo uThabo the name Thabo is it the Tswana or Xhosa name
igama lesintu lelo uThabo ngoba baningi ngoThabo abakhuluma isiXhosa kodwa asimaXhosa
ngisho nje
ngitsho umamele ukuthi njani
angithi nginikeza ye one name
igama lesiXhosa
ye one
uThabo ayisosiXhosa uThabo
but is Thabo Mbeki
ayingomXhosa kaloku uzizi
ubani
hawu
ubani umZulu
lizizi uDlamini
uphumi uphi idle
ayingomXhosa uDlamini ze kwaXhosa they are foreigners
okay angithi ngiyabonisa
bheka like
ngifuna ukuthi ngibonise ukuthi
history ithi Nelson Mandela is the first Xhosa black president of South Africa, right? uMandela singomXhosa uzizi uDlamini uThabo Mbeki ayingomXhosa
uholi hlahla
asingomXhosa
angithi asikhulumi uNelson
hayi uholi hlahla uDalibhunga asingomXhosa
wini
ngumthembu
wemthembu
abathembu ayingomaXhosa
bathi bani abathembu
bona mabazitrace eMozambique and eMozambique hayi lalela bazitrace to Mozambique and eMozambique uthola ke otembe abathembu oMaputo who trace themselves to higher up to Mapungubwe
different kings
ke Mapungubwe asazi ke but ngithi mina they don't trace themselves kwaXhosa.
We'll hear from them, we'll visit them.
Nankutembe la
hayi bazomchallenge lo
yeah
bazomchallenge la ekhaya
hayi akunankinga kodwa
it's good that we have
ukuthi uMandela asingomXhosa uThabo Mbeki asingomXhosa
mina bekithi Thabo the name Thabo
ayiso mina ndithi ayiso siXhosa
yini le
hayi andazi
Tswana name
Tswana name kodwa asabo and uThabo asingomXhosa
asiyeke asithe wena mama kuyithatha bekithi nje after the leadership of
izazothi gish lento
yeah
you know
it's good when we
thing is the government made a big mistake when Kgabo ne
absolutely
the government made a big mistake ngalento yama cultural classification.
They continue with the segregation law in a different way.
In a different way. So what they did was they grouped together people by proximity. Ngoba nihleli nonke endaweni eyi-one. What is the dominant language there? But okay, nonke nina la ningamaXhosa.
Yeah.
Right? And then nonke nina la. Like right now, I've got this belief yokuthi there is no nation but ke Batswana. But amongst Batswana, ke Bakgatla, ke Rolong, ke Putin, so Abelung, it was white people who grouped together these people and said, "Lona Batswana."
Yeah, like in Limpopo.
You understand?
They are known as BaPedi. Whereas the Matlala clan, they're not.
Mantwane
Whereas
are not. You understand?
Whereas the Baroka, they are the Swazis.
Okay.
And
Abo biza lesibongo lesi man, biza lesibongo lesi. Biza ngekasisho ngekasisho ngizokushaya induku. Ispedi manje mara when you abole ongalangala. Abole kalakala. Aha. Abole kalakala ongalangala.
Amandebele.
So now people classify yonke lento bathi book ningamaPedi nina, but when you actually sit down and look utayman ungalangala lo ufana no abokekana.
Yes, bokekana.
Yes, ogekana laba abona amaPedi, but today they are classified as Pedi and they are not. KwaXhosa is the same thing. So KwaXhosa you have amabhaca, you know, or amamfengu, you have amampondo, amaXesibe, you have all of these people. Dlamini, if you go down to details, kunoSkhosana. The first time I heard this song, it is Khosana, umsika mhlanga, kungaqhuma wazi ukuba umSkhosana ubasile emhlangeni. You understand? Ngasiva kwaXhosa. Only to find I'm an Ndebele lapha. Do you understand it? I heard about this in the Eastern Cape. Umsi kamhlanga. You understand? uSkhosana. And then this side, I grew up knowing Mutaiman. Mangfika ngapha eGauteng, and then masengihlakanipha, you know. You find out Mutaiman uSkhosana Ndebele. And then uSkhosana ufunani le Eastern Cape uthetha isiXhosa, unxiba isiXhosa, uthungqusho nombhokoqo. Do you understand? No. But now.
But it is because what we said. We have acknowledged that there's no tribe that
lived alone. That lived alone. There is no tribe that lived alone.
Yes.
So now,
hence we need to acknowledge that they are there.
Yes, confuser. Yes, ukuthi group nonke ngamaXhosa, group nonke ngamaZulu, group nonke Batswana, group nonke baPedi, group nonke. And when you sit down and look at the details, no man, asifani.
Yeah.
But yeah, ngiyabuzwa.
Iyachange namanje igere. Yeah.
Umrara siyasuka ke manje.
Umrara siyasuka manje.
Umraro uzala abathembu, umraro sizoyizwa ke le. Umrara yena uzala bani?
Siyamuva la. Umrara wabeleka uMabi.
Okay.
uMabi kaMrara.
uMabi Skral.
That's where their lineage come from.
Okay.
And that's where they would trace their being, because it's Mabi Skral.
So Mabi Skral would be Lesagala Mabi.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So uMrara the second didn't give birth to Unoto ngoba uMrolong, because they had 1 and 2. So now he gave birth to Mabi. Mabi ruled the tribes, and we are not yet around 19 something. Now we are on 1000, 2, 3, around those.
We are still in the 100. Still in the first century is 1,000 years.
Absolutely. We are around there. So uMabi, who was Nigesi 2 sons. Why acknowledge that he's got 2 sons? Mabi. Wakhuluma ngabo. Abulela ka bona batho ba. Hore nna a tshwana le bo papae bo
Bakata one.
And now we acknowledge it hore I've got 2 sons here. That's when we talk about the chieftaincy that you are rightfully given as a rightful one by lineage, and the one that were given by ancestral nomination. Yaqala manje. Ithi uMabi wabeleka uMasilo 1 ne Mabua. uMabua lo ubeleka abarolo, the present barolo.
who are different from baMorolong,
Yes.
their parent nation.
They are now baRolong. They are not baMorolong. Yeah, what?
Yes, well,
Yeah. The baMorolong one was under Masilo one. The baMorolong. Now Mabua said baRolong. We need to get it right.
so there are two nations now.
Yeah.
baMorolong under
Yes.
Masilo, the
Yes.
first.
Yes.
baRolong under Mabua,
Yes.
the first.
Absolutely.
Okay. Is that right?
That's where I liked it. Because now it shows the chieftaincy that was created, like I said. The ancestral
One was bloodline, one was an ancestral choice.
Yes. So we're not going to get deeper into Mabua, but all baRolong nation, baRolong nation are the descendant of Mabua around 13 something. 1390, 1380, around there, because Mabua started being a king on his own around that time. And I'm worried because we were not shown, even on researches, we were not shown others first before this breakup. Because I believe it happened. Hence I'm saying, umrara, umtirara, you know,
It was not the only breakup.
that was not the only breakup. And we need to acknowledge that there was breakups that we don't know how it happened to be. So baRolong nation are the descendant of Mabua. baMorolong are the descendant of Masilo. Right? Mabua gave birth to Manoto, meaning he then respected.
He returned back to the previous name.
Back to the origin. But they said because now batho ba le bana ba bitswa baMorolong, now rona ro bitswa baRolong, ba Monoto. Noto Tsipi.
Okay.
That's where it comes from. We leave that because we are going to them. At one stage we'll be with them and they will then start here. Or they will start where we started. It's their choice. But if we start around 18 something, we pack and go. We pack and go because he does not know who is he. And then how he happened to be. And why is he holding these ornaments of chieftains? You understand what I'm saying? So, Masilo gave birth to Malope. One. The same person that we're calling it Musi. Ka?
Kamhla. Umalope, umsi kamhla. Is one and the same.
Masilo gave birth to Malope one. Umusika Masilo. Umusika Kamhla.
So umasilo umhlanga.
No, Umalope. Malope one.
Malope one.
Umusi.
Umusi.
Yes.
And then ukamhla ubani umhlanga.
Either untwana waka Musi. Or the same Masilo.
Masilo, his other name was Umhlanga.
Yes.
Hey. Okay.
Umhlanga.
Yeah.
But Umhlanga rock, Umhlanga yini Umhlanga?
Umhlanga, letlhaka.
Yes. That's how. That's why sena ke Spirit sena. Ke a usebela.
Vala namahlebe.
Uvalela amahlebe. Ngiyakusebela. Real kings, when they are baptized, they're taken to Umhlanga. Inside the the water will be around lehlaka. O kolobetswa mo lehlakeng. His phiri. Kgosi ya nnete ha e sa kolobetswe ka mo legageng ko tlase. E kolobetswa mo lehlakeng. A re tsebe gore go nna mo mara kolobetswa mo. Ene tshwantsa tsenatsho.
Maenga phuma ngae.
Ai. Ba mo tsentsha ba mmolella gore ka mola go nna ntho e so. Ka mola mre. Tshwantse o betha ka diotse. Rapele. It's serious. O tla tsena ka mo lehlakeng o tla tswa. But akere wena wa re o ngwana Moshate. O sure o ngwana Moshate. Ka nnete nnete ngwana Moshate. Really ngwana Moshate. Uthi
ngena ke. Shona khona.
Shona khona la. A go lebetse mo swimming pool. No. Swimming pool. Fruit. Mo swimming pool. Rile pool. No. O ya go lehlakeng. Go ho nna se nna le wena re sa se tsebe. Mara o kopana le sona hantsa. At the same time we're dealing with his fear. Not only his being, but we are dealing with his fear as well. But yeah, no man wait again. One of the period. One of the periods because and they will start understanding who we are and then why this one is more powerful than this one, why this one is more clever than this one, why this one is more knowledgeable than this one within the royal structure. So that's how it happened. Either umtela ko dimathaba spirit sa sitiba kere ko tabe ko lebeletsa la okay asimale mangwa tlo tsena ka mo because the purity di batse di mothabeng di na le legaga
Di fitlhile.
di na le legaga tadi o tla felela if there's no royal blood, there's no lineage of what we're talking about. Because ha re mkolobetsa o tshwantsa ba boletse ka bontate molwana ya boletse ka bona bona to ba boletse ka bo mama nga ba bolella a tumelang ho sele. I'm about to get it. Yeah. So a tsela neli speak go se
Vulana mahlebe vulana mahlebe.
So we went down to Musi, whom everybody said he was in Transvaal, and who everybody within the Ndebele and the Batswana and saying he was within the Transvaal side. This same Musi gave birth to Ndebele. Amani, not all of them. Ndebele. And they respect that. But umhlaba kamusi kamhlanga. They respect that. They acknowledge lo Maloka.
Bayazi Ndebele ukuthi uMalope umusi.
Bias. They can call different names and said, you know, when a chief, a chief will have a name, but will have a praise name. So you either as a chief known by your praise name or by your real name. Now we know that Musi, in actual fact, is Malope-1. But we are not talking about Malope-1 as a name, we are talking about Musi, the praise name. You understand?
Now, Musi, njengoba ngithi mina usikhosana ngokwasesiXhoseni bathi ngumsi kamhlanga, meaning smoke. Musi lo, is it also smoke or kimmusi uyabusa? Musi as king or Musi as smoke?
As a king.
Okay.
Uyabusa. Yeah, it's not a smoke. Uyabusa.
Okay.
Umusi waka
Gamhla.
Yini
Should
inhlanga le?
ngale by
Yeah.
they twisted the meaning.
Yes.
Oh, bafike kwaXhosa thina sezwa umsi, and then we thought umsi is smoke, and then bayibamba lapho.
Yeah.
Hey.
Is there. So this one, Umalope. Now Umalope now acknowledge his sons. Because his father
Acknowledged him and his brother.
Yeah, his father acknowledged his junior uncle. Now he said, no. That's why there's differences there, but that's why things should be. He gave birth to 3 sons, which is Muhurutse, Mokwena, and Mokgatla. He gave birth to them, the same Malope. But because a chief, yes, but because remember I told you that a chief doesn't just marry one wife. Why? Because of
stability and
stress management, the management of stress.
Yeah, stress management.
Stress management.
Yeah.
One woman gives a stress, Baba. Amadoda bayakhala. Yeah.
Manje 2, 3, 4 is not worse.
No, you manage it well. You manage it well. When you are not angry in this house,
Yeah.
one is going to make sure that you are happy.
Yeah.
Within them. And that's what we need.
Okay. Stress management.
Stress management.
Which you look at Mackenzie, minister. There are 3 levels of players. There is your Champions League. Your Champions League player is the guy who has one other girlfriend, and then it must be kept a secret. And then you have your PSL player with your BMW Nabo Golf. They have 2, 3 girlfriends, and they don't care. And then you have your
the Champions one.
Yeah, your Champions League.
Yeah.
Galactico Champions League. So where you are juggling 10, 20 girlfriends. So it's not like that. This is stress management.
This is stress management.
Hey,
you see this guy? I like this guy.
We stress management in our league.
No, I like it because we have this guy. He's so happy to have his 4 wives. He would even have a show of that. This businessman.
Oh, Umseleku.
Yeah, Umseleku is managing his stress very well. Thank you, Umseleku.
Inspiration.
Humanity very well. Have you seen Umseleku? He's so nice. He's so fresh. He's well built.
Yes, when my people talk, I don't have a TV.
No, the guy is well built. He's nice. He's beautiful. He's whatever that you can call that is more beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Umseleku uphile kahle. Hayi asiphume lo Umseleku. Sikhulume.
So Umalope naye Umseleku unabafana abayi4.
Yeah.
Umalope Umseleku.
Yeah. Umalope had more than 4 wives. And some of them gave birth to the other nations. Yes. But would only concentrate on these 3. We would say Bahurutse, Muhurutse, not Bahurutse.
Gave birth to Bahurutse.
Yeah, Muhurutse gave birth to Bahurutse, Bana, Tsweni, all of them, up to Northern Cape. They were given birth by Muhurutse. And Bakwena, up to Lesotho, where Moshweshwe believed to be the overall king of Bakwena. They came from the same Mokwena. Yeah. All Bakwena, including Bokhosi Mkholokota in Tzaneen. Their lineage come from Mokwena. Because they believe and still be proud of the Kwena totem as theirs, which is good. They know who they are. But their lineage starts here. Doesn't start from where I come from. You understand what I'm saying? Ikala lapho. Ikala umasilo no Malope masilo. Start there. Ka the sons. Mokgatla starts there. They are sons of Malope, the first. The son to Masilo. Maleke.
Oh, Maleke.
Our ladies. Aye. Makhuluma le lensizwa.
Yeah.
Tolika Madebe.
Yeah.
The tallest king. Uslenkelenge.
How?
Yeah.
Which office?
Oh. Siyabona Toronyana tsa di salteng Malekeleke ba teng within the Kghatla clan, and they live long. My brother, they reach 100 like nothing has happened. Malekeleke, flat stomach.
I know Mkhabanyana.
Aye. Umadala was flat stomach.
Mshilo ata Batswana banenkinga. Oh baba badala bama 6 pack.
Ladies. Aye. Tina J. I see. Sona worry nje ukuthi.
Yeah.
Mira bana ba Malekeleke.
That's question.
That questioning ourselves. No, but that man was tall and long and broad. You know, he's more like Ushaka. You know Shaka, the way Shaka was built.
Henry Kele.
Yeah, Henry Kele. Yeah.
Ushaka Smazi.
Henry
Kele. Mr. Henry Kele. Brilliant actor.
Absolutely.
Brilliant movie.
Yeah. The way he's built. That's Malekeleke. I'm just showing you that. So, sangene lapho because it's
mele kwenziwe movie ngayo Malekeleke.
No, it's a pain to us, eh?
How?
Yeah, I mean, you see him Kgabanyana nje.
Now Kgabo man.
Sinem Kgabanyana sithi yes athatha.
Yekelipi.
So, Malekeleke gave birth to Malope the first, and Malope the first gave birth to Muhurutse, Mokwena and Mokgatla. Under the lineage of Bafurutse, we have those Manyanis and those who are around the Hurutse, and those, some went to Batswana, you know, some went down to the coastal north, Northern Cape. They settled there, and some of them are here.
Abantu bafike njani eZambia?
It is because of that war that was caused by this young boy.
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah. So this is how Sekatla were then created. Let's look at Sekatla, because we're not focusing on Mhurutse and we're not focusing on Mokwena. We'll then focus in the next chapter, in other chapters where we take them along. But now we're going to take now Mokgatla. Mokgatla gave birth to Kgabo. It was not Kgabo alone. And that's where researchers failed us. It was not only Kgabo, but they they moved for Kgabo. And they said under Kgabo during 1430, 14 up to 1490, Kgabo ruled the Bakgatla nation. Now they're moving. They are no longer called baMorolo. They are now moving as Bakata, baMokgatla. You understand now? They are now moving with their branch ancestor, which is Mokgatla Maloka. Then after Malope, they moved to Pohoti, which is Mocha, the Great. You know, I'm so proud of that. I wish I could have grabbed their, but my twin brother has grabbed their bones. I have a twin brother, so he has grabbed their bones. Pohoti, who's Mocha? His praise name is Mocha, but his name is Pohoti. Then he's known by his praise name instead of known by his real name. Which is no, Abakata ba Pohoti, not Abakata ba Mocha. That's how it should have been. Okay. Yes. Even on. Hey, this is so nice. This is so nice. Because this Mokgatla gave birth to Mohale, the first. Okay. Masilo, the first. Other branches of Kata, branches from there, the brothers and all that. Because this one, this other one was called Mocha, meaning Mocha was born with Kafela, was born with Mosetla being a woman, and Kafela being a boy, and Mocha being a boy, and Makau being a woman. You see where they're coming from. They're coming from the lineage of Pohoti.
So Mosetla, who was a woman, Otini Mocha, Kafela, Le Maka.
No. We pegged them nicely. Mosetla is a woman.
The firstborn.
The firstborn. It's a woman. Mosetla. The secondborn, Kgafela, it's a man. The third one, Mocha, is a man. The fourth one, Maka,
a woman.
A woman. Okay. So that's where Sekata started growing. You know, like there's this Sohawa. I don't know whether you know it. There's this Sohawa that behave differently when you press it.
Yeah, a bullfrog.
Yeah. It'll come in. Yeah, that's how the Kata nation started. And then they then move. But I will just look at this one called Buhlolo, Ngwana wa Pohoti, whom his name, his praise name was Malope 1. Malope 1. They still remember that this name Malope was used for Musi. Some were confused to call him Musi as well. But Malope.
Okay.
Yeah. Malope gave birth to two sons. He gave birth to Mohale Mokhale and Tabane. The nice thing that issue of the hereditary leadership kicks in, and the ancestral leadership kicks in again, which is Mokhale gave birth to the nation now of Bakata Bakgatla,
Okay.
and Bakata baMocha.
So he adopted these two females' names.
No. There were 3 sons. Now, here we are now creating nations. Created by who? Created by
Umalupe the first.
Yes.
Ubutlolo.
Ubutlolo. The same old man was named as well, another crazy name as Malekeleke. Because they didn't want to forget who they are. But they didn't say Ubutlolo ka Malekeleke or Ubutlolo ka Pohoti, like what we have acknowledged with the Zulus. They left it as it is and say, Kibana Babutlolo. Yes, that's when we then have a creation of nations. This one's about Tameka. This one's about Tameka, especially Tabana Tameka.
Uzele.
Bona, he married. This one didn't go with 3 or 2 women. No, he married. Okay, fine. We'll concentrate on the first and the second wife. The first wife, he gave birth to Modise, whom were later called Matlaisane. Modise did not treat his brothers well during his rule, and his brothers were Diale, Kgetse, Matsiboho, Khwadi, Musia. He didn't treat them well. Under Modise's rule, whom we are saying is Matlaisane, the son to a woman from, his mother was from the Bahurute side. From Bahurute side. From the
ancestral
the great house of Bahurut. Married the called Pliku. In Hurute, they respected that old his mother and say Ko Likubu, meaning the first child of the chief's wife was Lukubu. Then they said Malikubu, Kolukubu. That's how they respected the first child. And that first child was married to Sakata Kitabani as a first wife. Then when he branched out of the main house of leadership, they complain. Even writers acknowledge that. They said Tabade went out with lots of community members, nation. They acknowledge that. Then he then married to Bafokeng after he defeated them. Bakwena, his brother, his a junior uncle from top. He defeated them in Magaliesburg. After defeating them, they acknowledged by giving him a wife whom gave birth to these 5 sons. Diale, Kgetse, Matsiboho, Khwadi, Musia. other wives created other tribes of Tabal. Hence, in Dr. Mtsekha's book, he acknowledged that he was the god of Hassan. I don't know what that means. I'm quoting Dr. Mtsekha here. He will explain what is that Hassan. Why are they calling him the god of Hassan? Father to Ndebele. They acknowledge on that book the ancestral leadership, not the hereditary one. They acknowledge the ancestral leadership that was led by Ndebele. They said, Father to Ndebele, the god of Hassan. Kiskhat. The Batokwa are part of us, because Batokwa, they will tell you that the Renarbana Morwamocha won. Then he said, why did Peter Batokwa? A very Renarbana Maloka Mohala Sabo. Kolefatin de Life Papa. A very Maloka scope. Just there, be quiet, because you would know who you are. We have Kosi, the place called Limpopo. They acknowledge my great-great-grandfather, which is Mpoko, the son to Maloka, to the great wife. There's Kosi Ratan, as you go down to Nebo. Where is he coming from? The same Maloka. I'm just giving so that they don't become confused where they're sitting. It's just the branching of us in different direction. That actually, the nice thing about it, they acknowledge that they are from Ratahana kingship. And then some are acknowledging that they are sitting in the land called Hamburg, meaning there's a leader there who carries this name. Absolutely. So I'm just saying that. So we have the creation of BaPedi under Diale, under Ndebele, under Tobejane. You know the nice thing about this history of the Pedi, it's a topic on its own, because the same Ndebele who later then created this kingdom of the Venda kingdom. Votovere. Khosi. The one who will sit as chief will never go to the traditional school. Kokome will never go there. Ndebele did not go to a traditional school. Instead, ele kana kwe banya ka ngomunka, banya ka ngomtseya. Athaba le ngwana rangwana ai, amwira msadi. Athabela kukuze baba. Kolofatse le re bitsang ga Ndebele mosuwa thunya.
Oh, Victoria Falls.
Absolutely. Ha Ndebele mosuwa thu. Fatela skhathalela. These white people, when they started demarcating this land, they left our ancestral land outside South Africa. And they want us to believe that that land is in Zimbabwe. Sure. When Ndebele was called to come and assist his brother, Tobejane, who had a problem with the cannibal situation, the Bamashabela and some of the Ndebeles under the Gigana clan were eating human beings instead of eating cows and cattle. Hence, Amandebele Agigana Bati, tina semandebele agegana rifita khomo raja motho. Yes, so that was during the cannibal period of the Ndebele. And the mixture of the vendors that are there who are aligned with the Gegana clan and who are aligned with the Kata clan, somehow they are not seeing eye to eye because of this famine period that happened. And then you look at the baMocha next to Khapasha. There's a place called Khapasha in Becker's Fort around there. That place, the baMocha, it's in the middle of Banaba who are now called BaPedi. They have surrounded the baMocha so that they don't repeat what they've started. Yeah. So, but Thobela, when he came back from Zimbabwe, he helped his brother Tobejan in making sure that he then said to baMocha, this is not what we do. They said to him, no, but you took our cattle. You took our cattle. What do you expect to do? What do you expect from us? We saw this fresh one. He was fit for the pot. You know, that's how the famine started. You know, it was bad at that time. You know, somebody had to do a plan, had to make a plan. You know, these women. You know, Africa. You know, the nice thing about South Africa, we've got variety. A very nice variety, and I like it. You know, that's why we have flocks of men from up there flocking to South Africa. In any way, let's not get into detail because that on its own, again, Abba, it's a topic on its own. It's a topic on its own. It's not, why are we talking about famine? What caused the famine? Why did we have that? Where cattle and goats were dying and people just taking up those cattle and what and what's not. So during that time, these tribes were living happily, my brother. They were living happily. They never had unnecessary attacks and wars. They never.
Bespila.
Yeah, they were living happily.
Hey, now we are living.
Then you see, it's we're talking about the time around 1500 because Tabani himself is of 1510. Other kingdoms were not there, were not created. We don't know their history from there. You know. Then when you move up and look at the children of this lineage, that's when you would find that the Kata nation are now under given by the sons of Modise, Matlaisani, the Mwepis, the Ratlahanas, the Mobanis, the Malukas, the Chitlangs, you know. The Mochas and the Magaus. So you find them there. And this history, it's so rich that when you talk about them, you don't know where to start because there's a lot of interest in their history. You know, but we're going down because we're talking about Modise being the first child. BaPedi are not Kiborangwan. The lineage of BaPedi, Kiborangwan. I told you how they happen to have this great leadership they're holding, it is because of the ancestral choice, not of a hereditary choice. The hereditary choice of kingship is within the Modise clan, the Matlaisani clan, where you find the Malokas and the even Bakata baMakutu, that we have left them in Suitspansberg, Kgabo, next to Venda area. It's a very big. Makutu meaning. Kutu. Yes. Yeah. Kutu. Yes. Makutu meaning.
Because there's a family I know, Malikutu.
Malikutu, they are on. It's the same. As you look at it, the lineage that is linked to the same Makutu.
Okay.
Because I mean, they are of Sukukuni and Tulari and Mampuru and Morwamocha and Makeru side. But they would acknowledge that we had Banaba Modise. That's why the Banaba Modise. They acknowledge the Mataisan, the same son who tormented them, not ruling them well. And you know, Mataisan was buried by Basia. When he was sick, he was taken to the Basia chieftaincy for healing. Then he was never returned because Bakata were told at that time that Matlaisani is no more. Basia, being the last born of Mudise's father, they buried him. But it's not that they killed him. He was not well. Sick. Yeah, I mean, this is the person who used to give you runarounds. You know, now he's running to you for help. And then now you are the one who should take care of.
He's your brother also.
He's your brother. So that's what Basia did. And again, we as Bakata nation, we need to say thank you to Basia as our last born. We need to thank them.
But anyway, it's beyond the point. But no. It's just I had a beautiful dream last night. But anyway, go back.
Absolutely. So we need to acknowledge that. Then we move to Mocha, the son to Matlaisani Modise. We move to Ratlahana, the son to Mocha, whom his praise name was Muke. But he was not known by his praise name Muke. He was known by his name Ratlahana. That's why Muke, it's a name, it's a surname in some of the Kata surnames. Even if you move to Marabjan, you find the Muke families. They are part of us in acknowledging this old man, Ratlahana. His praise name is Muke. Yes, we have Matlaisani in Siabe. They acknowledge his praise name and take it as a name instead of Modise. And they are a lineage of Modise who happen not to have their actual chieftaincy like this, as some of them who remain with the same name, Modise.
But of course, yeah.
Instead of that, they create a church.
Okay. Okay.
Instead of sitting down and say, but we are of the lineage of chieftaincy. Why can't we create a chieftaincy that works as chieftaincy? And they said, no, a church is fine for us.
Okay.
Then they rule their people through a church. And they are doing very well, because there as well. Go there, you'll be interested. You will like to join them. They are doing it very well. They are working like in taxi industry.
Yeah.
In taxi industry, you cannot talk with a taxi with one taxi. Yeah. You are not yet there. You cannot take any decision if you have one taxi or two. you are still a young boy.
Losing a 10 at least.
At least for you to talk in an association, you must talk a language of a better a number. So even in Mudise's church, that's what is happening. You are acknowledged
By. Okay.
Leave it there.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. So that's what I'm just
okay.
giving. So this is the lineage of, absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Uma ngope na ubuya kwephi lineage la?
Nebafurutse.
Oh, kuba furutse. Okay.
Lineage abafurutse. Mangope.
Ukhoni Masilo.
Umasilo.
Ukarabo Muroka.
Umasilo.
Ukhoni Masilo. Lo actor ukarabo Muroka. Ngizile bathu khona uMasilo naye la.
Bana ba Masilo kiba.
Umkhatla.
Ba Masilo kiba.
Ana uMasilo uzala uMaloka.
Yes.
Hey. Ubuya kude moslentombi le lineage yakhe yakudala.
Yes, the same name. There are those who have kept the name
like
as a same name.
Khoni Masilo. So
yes.
Mntwana enkosi nayo Khoni Masilo. How Princess Ferguson.
You'd find those who are calling themselves Kgabo, Bakata, Bakhaliphi, Kgabo. It's the same name. It's the same name of this king.
Bakwena is same family.
Absolutely.
Hey, bayastexa la kuma toll gate abakwena.
Yeah. Bana bakamkwena.
Shukuthi ngiyakuzwa ngoba moti umhlaba wabo vele Transvaal kuyale kuyebutswana. Yiwo sibhadala abakwena ama toll gate. Hey, safa Batswana nkosi yami.
Yeah. So, you know, we're talking about a lineage that can be traced. A lineage that has a history, and a very rich history, with step by step being taken. Okay, fine. Let's move to this one of Mataisani. I said to you, his son, Mudise's son, the other house. He had wives as well. I was telling you about Bakata Makutu, where you would find the Malebanese, the no, they've remained in one of our biggest land in Katling next to a vendor called Soetspansberg. The Soetspansberg, it's the other piece is in Venda, the other piece is in Butlokwa, next to Butlokwa down to Mokopane. So that land is big, very big. And these lands I'm talking about of Katla, you can still find it then there. In Venda we have Hamucha Kwekwe, Hamucha Tota. They believe what
they are the true Mocha.
Yeah, yes. And then we have the Toyando, Cloyado. We have the
Azwindini maruzozivumela lento ezikhulumayo.
Uwazindini?
Ukuthi indawo yakhe kuseBakgatleni.
Yes.
Ngizokubuza uVosuzene yazi.
I Shem, once they told you that their ancestral trace is from
Buruzi.
You call it that place Mapukubi. Once he traced that, he said, no, originally we're from Mapungubi. He would call it Mapungubi instead of Mapukubi. And I refuse. Because these white people here in Pretoria University, when they dig up our great grandfather, Tabane the first, they find him with a bowl of gold. And they think we are happy with what they did. We are not happy with what they did. we are not even proud of what they did, because they've taken the spirit where we should have cried for help. They put it in University of Pretoria. They've disturbed our hence you see the chieftaincy is not as good as it is, because the original person was disturbed by white people. They think it was an ornament. It's not an ornament to whites, and it will never be an ornament to whites. It's an ornament to us if you call it an ornament. Well, we're not proud of what they did. Go in there and be proud that we have dig
But
out
they
a
did
king
it in too many places, so many places.
on top of the mountain. They will say, no, we found the king sitting on top of the mountain like that with a full of bowl of
Golden
gold.
bowl. Why? But then why did you disturb him?
Why did you disturb that person? Write about him, talk about him,
Take
but
your
leave him
pictures,
there.
But leave him there.
Leave him there. You go to University of Pretoria.
Bazovuma siyizibone lezi zinto la.
I believe they don't have a choice, and somebody was supposed then to do something about it. And I think it's time that we do something about it and say, return what you have taken.
We should try.
Yeah, return what you have taken, because we are misfiring here because of you. It's true. We're misfiring, my brother. In all the chieftaincies of these old men, we are misfiring. That hey, yeah. Bona inonene.
Iyagijima. Iyagijima.
Yeah.
Sesilapha manje.
But fresh, it's
I'm
very
thinking,
yadusa.
right now.
So fat.
Amabhunu sewakhona sekuliwe. I'm sure sesila ePitori manje.
Yeah, we're not far.
Yeah.
we
Somewhere la ePitori.
Sila.
Zonke lezi zinto zenzeka.
Senzeka la. Yeah. Abakhatla baMocha baMakutu. Abakhatla Kgabo. Abakhatla in Swaziland. Abakhatla in BaSotho BaKhosi Letsholo. Babelekwa la eKhatleni. Chache went to Swaziland. He was followed by his brother Manyoke to Swaziland. Those who went to Lesotho were following Letsholo. Breaking up from the same lineage.
The core family.
The core family. Even Bakakau ne bakamcheche. Kune bakata bate bona bakamcheche. As we move down to next to Siabusa. And then there's BaPedi, BaMampuru, BaDiale, Latins Kukuni, BaMakheru, BaThobele Ntobejane, there are a lot of them in Sekhukhune land. They say it's Sekhukhune land. They are of the same lineage as us. BaMocha, BaMobane, BaRatlhahana, BaMaloka, BaSiabe. They are from that lineage I'm talking about of Modise. BaMakutu, they are of the same. BaMakau, they are of the same. Because they are give birth by cow. hence Makau.
Okay.
Yes. So, Bakholokwe, most of them are in Bethlehem, Harry Smith, Lady Smith, around there. Kibana ba kgetsi. They are of the same lineage as us. They are the junior houses. Batokwa.
Batokwa.
Yeah, Batokwa. And Batokwa. Matsibuho, Kgetsi, Basia, Baputim. They are of the same lineage as us. Even those who are in Venda, there's a place called Baputim, Batlokwa, Basia, Bamusia, Kgamochakwekwe, Bamakhatu, Toyando, Chififi, Msanda Wesnendo, Khosi ya Hosebane Linku. Msanda Wesnendo.
Wasnando. Wesnendo.
Yeah.
Sayinkosi ngenandla.
Khosi ya Hosebane Linku.
Yeah.
Those are Khatla lineage that are found around the land of Bavenda. And how it happened them to be where they are, it is because ngwana o hodiswa ke mme. The leleme la mme ke lona le le tlo nna mo ngwaneng hona le leleme la ntate, because fathers were not present to their kids due to
many reasons around those times.
Absolutely, yes. So hence now we have them talking a dialect of Pt1 and mixture of Kalanga. And some are on the mixture of where Robert Mugabe comes from, the tribe where Robert Mugabe comes from. They mixed it up to have an understanding language of Venda. Yes, but most of their dialects there are of Tswana origin. Most of them. I'm not saying all of them, but most of them. Their dialect it's of a Tswana origin because they're doing Tswana things. They've improved it because it's a mixture of understanding the Shona, Kalanga, and Tswana mixed. So they are, I would say, in our tribe, they are the most powerful in traditional understanding because they've mixed
colorful culture.
They've colorful culture. They've mixed that culture to such an extent that we as Bakata down here in Pretoria, who are now tormented by white people, protecting them, you know. We happen to be close to Pretoria. We happen to be close to the Boers. And then before they move to our brothers up there, they should pass us. So we are in trouble. But I was just showing you the vendor being Bakata. There's a place called Lierach. As I say in Lierach, as you find in Rustenburg, you know, it's in Venda. But most don't know how they relate. They look at Venda as if they are another tribe. No. Those are descendants of Mokgatla Tabane.
Yeah, exactly.
Hence we have Tabane 1, Tabane 2, you know, the kings that are lineage after this name. And they still respect that. When they greet, they say Tovere. Tovere.
Utovela lo.
Utovela. BaPedi ba reng? Thobela. Bakata they just say Bimela, you know, Abana Haba adopta Ugasere Matlaisani. Or Matlaisani, that means you are saying to the person that
is a joker.
Yeah, no, I'm not treating well. The person who was not treating well, how yes, Pataga. They cannot use that praise name to anyone, but they can use it as a surname. You see, as baMocha, just to keep the understanding of Sakati.
Ma shukuthi ifana Abakhatla mabebulisana abantu
Kgabo. So we have kept the origin. They then said Ndebele, the son to Sakati, the son to Tabani. They respect him as, like I said to you, it's a lineage that was created by ancestors. It's an ancestral lineage. Hence it was and it is respected in that way.
No, yes, God.
You understand?
Yes,
so these are tribes that are related to. You know, you find the Basia right in Mount Fletcher. You think that they are not Bakata. They say Mtubatse.
Yeah.
Tubatse.
Where's
Tubatse? Tubatse is there. Because they know who they are. Give another Matobele. Kaitsedi Abafuke. Bakwena. Bakata banyetse ko kae? Banyetse ka mo musadi o moholo tswa ka mo kae? O tswa ka mo ba furutseng. Wa bobedi tswa ko kae? O tswa ka mo bakweneng.
Okay.
You understand? So they were still keeping their house in order. As we are not doing that. Just marry. In this present way, we just absolutely. If things are not going well, we started asking ourselves questions, but we know the answer.
Kgabo,
yeah. So I was just telling you about this lineage of Tabani, moving down to the lineage of Matlaisani now, where I will end up being where I am. Yes, where Matlaisani gave birth to Mocha and give birth to Siab and give birth to Church and give birth to Ratahan and give birth to Kgabane. You know, those Seije and Nalani. You know, those are Kao. You know. These are names that are still keeping us intact. It's just some people are not told the truth of who they are. They are meant to believe that they are greater than the other. I mean, your brother is your brother. The greater brother is the greater brother. It won't change. Your father is your father. It won't change. And your mother cannot be another mother. It's the same mother that you're sitting with. So some people are a bit confused of such. So we find that Sokote, bo Madibwane, bo Siabe, bo you know, these boys who are part of Banaba Bakosi Matlaisani. Then we will then move to Ratahana as an interesting part. This Mutli, who gave birth to Mokopane and gave birth to Maloka and gave birth to Sichache and gave birth to Moemise, give birth to Malate, give birth to Aliye. Those are Kata names that are existing in keeping up with the trend of these chieftains going up. Yes, even Mocha and all that. So, moving down, because we have Mokopane and Maloka, these are the ones who were given chieftaincy the same as I've been explaining. One will move hereditary, so one will be chosen due to his strength, due to his understanding, due to his willingness to keep the Bakata intact. My great grandfather, Nkutolani Maloka, one, his chieftaincy, it comes in an ancestral way, because he's a brother to Maubane. Maubane who give birth to Mwepi and other Mwepi and Raleigh, Mwemise, Malatse and all that. Maloka gave to Chachebo, Shabutlhe, Kgabo, Transvaal, Skepe, Kame. You know, he gave birth to sons. Maloka married 12 women.
How? Which is never found back?
12. He married 12 women. Some Malokas are in a place called Maloka Spread. As you go down to Ndebele, there's a land called Maloka Spread there. They are the descendant of this old man. Some of the Malokas are there in a place called Likubun. As you go past Moria, they said, "Wanakeba must walk." No. Bakgatla. It's just when you need to find a way of trying to associate yourself with the area, and then it's the Malokas in the tribe of Popolo that moves from Pretoria itself next to Vonerboom. The Ndebeles of the Manala and the Nzunza were the other side of the highway, and then we were at the other side of the highway with Bataung. Bataung, we have moved with them in different areas. From Pretoria, we went to Dinnerton together, next to Bantuan. We went there together. But when we come back, the Bataung settled again in the same area where we come from, going past around Hammaskral. There's farms around Hammaskral that I don't know whether they've claimed it or they know about it, but it's theirs. Bataung. The Nuking area. The part of that Bataung. Babalunko Mabuluka. Bataung Babalenko Mabuluka. We came with them, we were working with them, we were with them, we did a lot of things together. As and when we move, there are other tribes that we have annexed or taken. Like, for example, the son to Maloka Nkutolani, one, whom we called Mabokoboko. Kosi Pele Tshwebile Diatla. Kosi ya lokela Bakgatla ba sa erate. O nyetse basadi ba babedi. From Ndwani, he came with the first wife, whom was called Dikeledi, a daughter to the Moema clan. As he reached Mametlake around 1850 with his father, he was then asked to marry his sister from the maternal wife of maternal side of his junior uncles, elder uncles, the Mwepi clan in Marabjai, because there was a son already in there of the same chief. Then he had to marry Makhosilehao. From that, bring him to the clan of the Maloka clan. Yeah, that's when other feuds started. The difference started of chieftaincy, who's who, and wara wara. They fought. They are.
It's common.
Yeah, they started fighting and they started not acknowledging each other. But the person whom his father Mpuku died, when Mpuku died, he was with his first son from Dikeledi's side, whom we call Munyai. Munyai is the one who told Bakata what to do and what not to do. Then, due to the junior uncles and those who were married, because when you marry in a royal family, there should be those who are going to help. The Tlotletinje. We call it the Tlotlet. By the way, they will make sure that the fire burns. They will keep the fire burns, but from your side as a woman. Bo agere kiring.
Oh, put back.
Yeah, Baba Tusa. So we marry one person, but we take 2 or 3 of your brothers or sisters so that they help you with, so that you settle. Because as a woman, you need to settle in your new environment. So those are the ones who make a settle. We married them. The Maubanis, some of the Maubanis, we married them. And instead of keep the fire burning, some of them they cause some little bit of trouble in our chieftaincy. But be as it may, we have Borangwani in Mametlake, we have Borangwani in Sohoko, we have Borangwani in Semetlase, we have Borangwani in a place called Muleji, next to Semetlase. We have Borangwani in Siabe. We have Borangwani in a place called Hataban, as you move down to Mwepi side. And then we have the 2 families in Mametlake, in Pake 1, Pake 2, Rangail and all that, that are forming part of this kinship. Due to the differences that occurs in there, the family will just split into 3, 4, 5. Unnecessary so, but they know this is the right family to do. So the family of my great grandfather, Kosi Mpoko, was then break into 2. When they started fighting around 1925, having differences, the 2 women having differences in 1925.
And that fight is still going on now, in a way.
A little bit, but it's not as tense as it used to, because there are some understanding in between us as a family. So in 1925, 25 to December. Have you ever seen a woman packing or somebody packing in December? 25. My great-grandfather, my great-grandmother, Dikeledi packed, was meant to pact in Mametlake, in Pankop, Masobi. But there was a war in Mametlake that we called Ntoya ya Mama Chitlela. The war that was caused by family, it was a family feud. There were those people under Skep Maloka who were chased by whites in Benoni, in Heidelberg, in a place called Knopisfontein, 88 JQ. The whole of Heidelberg, Knopisfontein, was under Chief Skep Maloka. Then was removed there. Instead of him settling in Pretoria next to Vonnerboom, he passed that area. He went to Mametlake, and then he found these 2 women not going eye to eye because the old man was not well at that time. And then he saw a gap of making them fight more. Yeah. Then the maternal sister of my grandmother, Dikeledi, the daughter to Mwema, the daughter of an old man called Morapele and old women called grandmother called Nzai. Their first daughter, being Makara, was killed early in the morning where the hospital is. Then the war of a family feud started. and then it went up to a place called Lehau. It spread so much that there was no control. But those who were found in Mametlake around 1850 when Ndebele, those who are at a place called between Makapanstad and Matibestad. Those who are in Matibestad were driven out of Mametlake to where they are, Matibestad, and they were caged as well. Remember I told you about the caged one?
To control,
Yeah, they caged them. Bakata baMocha this side, Bakata baMocha Ndebele, because they had a very good relationship with the Ndebele Giga. They said, no, if he goes there, you must just bring him along. He must be in the middle. And then Bakata this side. The Ndebele are Amatibe. They are in the middle of Skat. They know. And it's not that, well, with us, it's okay because it happened on that day. The other portion that they have and control, it's a place next to Mota called Rajiepan. It's off them. It isn't the bellies. So that is the only portion they have and control.
Mana khosi ngizocela sibambe lapho sisafika nako Maloka nabo kokudikeledi la
Yasifikile la
sizobuya siqedelele futhi ngelinye la usohlala khona unaba ke nale story lezi okwamanje asibonge sizoloko siqhubeka ngale Kgangkgolo babethu kimuntu wataba ayipheli namhlanje
ewe
sisaqala
sisayeba
sisayeba
thutsi sisayeba thutsi mrena
nakho
siyayidiga, we are digging this to keep. Siyalewa.